Hi everybody, this is Dr. Nigro with the Chem Calculation Screencast. This one focused on stoichiometry problems that include aqueous solutions. All right, so a stoichiometry problem we hopefully have learned by now involves reactions. So we're going to need to know what the reaction is. We're going to have to balance it and do all that good stuff. But solution stoichiometry deals specifically with reactants that contain aqueous or other solutions, but we're going to focus on aqueous solutions. All right, which means that we got to have some sort of chemical compound followed by that AQ designation. Now, just like we saw with earlier stoichiometry problems, you have to write and balance your reaction. All right, and then just like we saw before, you need a plan. All right, by this point, we've learned how to do stoichiometry problems with a lot of different units or different amounts of our different components. All right, so we're going to be adding in our last new one, for this year at least, which is when we have an aqueous solution and we're given the molarity or the volume. Right, and sometimes we could be given both. That happens quite a bit, particularly if you start with that particular substance. All right, before I write the map out, I want to make one point very clear. Do not use molar volume for these problems. All right, remember molar volume equates the amount of gas in 1 mole of that gas under STP conditions. That is very different than using molarity to move between volume and moles of an aqueous solution. So if you take nothing else from this video, take this away. Do not use molar volume. All right, now, if your problem asks you to start with a gas or end with a gas and you're under STP conditions, then by all means, you may use molar volume. But if that is not the case, do not use molar volume. All right. Now we know that most of our stoichiometry problems ask us to convert between two different substances. I'll just call them moles of A and moles of B. And that problem requires that mole ratio step somewhere in there. It's not stoichiometry if there's no mole ratio step. All right. And we've learned a couple different entry points. We could start with grams. And if we start with grams, we can go back and forth as long as we know the molar mass. All right. We have learned if we have volume of that stuff and it's a gas at STP, all right, and if we're under those conditions, then that is the one spot where you can use molar volume. All right, that gas could also be at non-STP. All right, and if that happens, then we need to use the ideal gas law. Okay, whoops, hold on, I'm going to move that guy so I have a little more room. There we go. All right. We also know how to go from particles. So if we have particles of A, all right, we can go back and forth to moles using Avogadro's number. All right, so that's all old stuff we've already done. And we can have all those same exit points over here with B. I'm not going to write them all in because it takes up a lot of space. All right, the new one, the one that's going to be today, is if you have volume of A and it's an aqueous solution. All right, so you write out your balanced chemical reaction and it's not a gas, but it's an aqueous solution. So in that case, we're going to be using molarity. And we know that molarity is moles over volume. All right, so it's going to let us set up an equality, which we'll talk about in just a second. There are a couple different ways to run these problems. You can use molarity as a conversion factor, and I'll show you that way. Or you can utilize the formula for molarity and solve for either the volume or the moles. If you solve for the moles, that tends to be at the beginning of a problem. You'll use it in the stoichiometry and finish it up. If you're solving for volume, that tends to occur at the end of the problem. Okay, so I think the best way to look at this is to try one. All right, so down here I have 350 milliliters of a 0.125 molar solution of NaCl was added to an aqueous PbNO32 aqueous solution. How many grams of the precipitate will form? All right, so we need to write our balanced reaction. So we've got NaCl aqueous plus PbCl2 aqueous. All right, I have two ionic compounds, so this is going to be a double replacement. So I'm going to end up with Na. Oops, sorry. That's not NaCl. I was wondering about that. Let me fix that. That was PbNO3, lead 2 nitrate. Sorry about that. So one of our products is going to be sodium nitrate. All right, sodium's +1, nitrate's -1, so we get one of each. All right, and then our second product will be between lead and chloride. Pb here is +2, chloride's -1, so BbCl2. All right, now I've left the states blank because I'm going to need to check the solubility rules to see if these are soluble or insoluble. All right, and if I look, all group 1 metals or compounds that contain nitrates are always soluble, so this will be aqueous. And then if I look at the chlorides, most chlorides are soluble with the exception of lead being one of them, so that's going to be our precipitate. All right, so here's my reaction. I need to balance it. So if I look, I'm going to need 2 sodium nitrates and 2 sodium chlorides. All right, so that's nice and balanced and complete. So you got to have that before you can start the problem. All right, now I have been given 0.125 molar NaCl, and I react 350 milliliters of it. And the question is, how many grams of my precipitate are going to form? So you can see I'm moving from one component to another. So this is going to be a stoichiometry problem. There will be a mole ratio step in the middle somewhere. All right. Now, one thing to keep in mind about this molarity, right? We learned that molarity is moles of our solute divided by volume of our solution. All right. And when we have a molar solution, 0.125 molar NaCl is the same thing as saying 0.125 moles of NaCl per 1 liter. And once I get that per statement in there, then I can set an equality. So in other words, when I have this particular solution, 1 liter of that solution equals 0.125 moles of that solution. And that equality can be used to set up conversion factors. All right. Before I get to that, though, let's do a brief plan off to the side. All right. So I'm going from NaCl and I'm trying to find grams of PbCl2. All right. And I'm going to start with 0.125 molar NaCl, and I have 350 milliliters of it. All right, can't go direct. Right, so as with all our other problems, I'm first going to need moles of NaCl. All right, once I have moles of NaCl, those I can convert to moles of PbCl2, and then I'm going to be able to go to grams. All right, the last 2 steps are familiar. This is our mole ratio step, going from moles of one substance to moles of another, and then molar mass to go from moles of lead 2 nitrate to grams of lead 2 nitrate. The new step is this first one. All right, I'm trying to find moles of NaCl. And I know that molarity is moles divided by volume. So if I look, I've been given molarity and I've got a volume value. So I can just use the formula and solve for moles. So let's do that first. All right, so I have 0.125 molar NaCl, moles of NaCl over 350 milliliters, but remember it's per liter of solution, so 0.350 liters. All right, and if I finish my calculation, I'm going to have 0.044 moles of NaCl. All right, so this I can plug right into my second step of my plan and then finish up with stoichiometry. So in other words, I can say, all right, if I have 0.44 moles of NaCl, all right, according to the balanced chemical reaction, for every 2 moles of NaCl, I will produce 1 mole of PbCl2. That gives me some moles, all right, and now I can take my moles of PbCl2 and convert that into grams using the molar mass. All right, so 1 mole of PbCl2 has a molar mass of 278.1 grams. All right, and I calculated that using my periodic table. So my moles of lead 2 chloride will cancel, my moles of NaCl will cancel, and if I work out the rest of the math, I should get around 6.1 grams of PbCl2. All right, so that lets me use the formula first. So this was my first step, to then find those moles. And then the second part was my stoichiometry. And again, some familiar steps, that mole ratio step. And then we finished it up with a molar mass step. All right, now there is a second way to put this together. So I'm going to show you that second way. All right, And it's not using the formula, but instead using that molarity as a conversion factor. All right, so what we're basically saying is if we have 0.125 molar NaCl, then 1 liter of that NaCl solution equals 0.125 moles of NaCl. And I'm going to use that equality to set up a conversion factor. So for these problems, you're always going to start with your volume. So 0.35 liters of that NaCl solution. And now I'm going to use my molarity as a conversion factor. So I have liters to cancel, so that's going to go on the bottom. I'm trying to find moles. I'm going to put that up top. All right, I'm going to go look at that equality, and it says for every 1 liter of NaCl, I'm going to have 0.125 moles of NaCl. All right, so that's how we use molarity as a conversion factor. Now I have moles of NaCl, so it's the mole ratio step. 2 moles of NaCl for every 1 mole of PbCl2. So there's my mole ratio step, and then I'm going to finish it up with my molar mass step, where 1 mole of PbCl2 has a molar mass of 278.1 grams. All right, so if you look, my moles of lead 2 chloride are going to cancel, my moles of sodium chloride are going to cancel, my liters of solution are going to cancel. So everything cancels except for those grams of PbCl2. If I multiply across, then divide by the bottom, I once again get 6.1 grams of PbCl2. So you can see it doesn't matter which way you do it, you're going to get the same answer. If you're more comfortable using the formula, solving for moles, and then starting the stoichiometry, perfectly fine. If you would rather use that molarity as a conversion factor, that works too. It's going to be up to you what you feel more comfortable with. All right, so now let's try this one. All right, here we have 150 milliliters of a 0.85 molar chloric acid reacting completely with 275 milliliters of a barium hydroxide solution. What was the initial molarity of the barium hydroxide solution? All right, so we're going to react HCl3 aqueous plus BaOH2 aqueous. And we're going to get 2 products. This is again a double replacement. So barium will interact with chlorate, and that is going to be aqueous. All chlorates are. All right, and then my other compound is hydrogen ions plus hydroxide ions, which is H2O, and that's going to be a liquid. All right, so this reaction is going to go because it's forming a product that has a state other than aqueous. So if I did my net ionic equation, I would find barium and chlorate are my spectator ions, and the hydrogen ion and the hydroxide are forming my product, which is water. All right, now I need to balance it. If I look, I'm going to need 2 of my acids and 2 of my waters. All right, so that looks good. So now what do I know? I have 0.85 molar chloric acid, and I have 150 milliliters of it. That is reacting with 275 milliliters of that barium hydroxide of unknown concentration. So that's going to be our unknown here, that molarity of that barium hydroxide. Now, as soon as students see this problem, their first thing is, oh, I'm going to use my dilution formula. This is not dilution, all right? This is a reaction. So we don't use the dilution formula, we use stoichiometry to solve this problem. It's very tempting. And sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes it works, but you got to watch out for your coefficients. That's where you're going to get messed up. So if you use stoichiometry, you will always get it right. Whereas if you try to use your dilution formula, you will get it right every now and then not get it right the rest of the time. So please, at least start out, let's do it stoichiometry first. All right, so we're going from 0.85 molar HClO3, and I have 150 milliliters of it, and we're trying to figure out the molarity of that barium hydroxide. All right, so the molarity, we know that molarity is moles of our solute divided by volume of our solution. And if we look, we've been actually given the volume, 275 milliliters. So what we're looking for here, we got to have moles. All right, so to get all the way to molarity, we got to get to moles eventually. All right, so if I start with these 2 numbers, my molarity and volume, I can use those to find the moles of HClO3. And once I know moles of that, I can convert that to moles of barium hydroxide, and then I can get to molarity. All right, this first step, I have a couple choices again. I can use my molarity formula, solve for N, and then plug that in. I can use my mole ratio step to convert over to barium hydroxide, and then I can use my molarity formula again, but solve for molarity, okay? Or I can use my molarity of the chloric acid as a conversion factor, use a mole ratio step, and then use my formula. It's kind of up to you. All right, this time I'm going to use it as a conversion factor to start, and then I can show you the other way after. All right, so this time I have 0.150 liters of HClO3, and my molarity is 0.85 molar, which means that for every 1 liter of this solution, I have 0.85 moles of that solute. All right, that's going to let me cancel those liters. All right, now I can do a mole ratio step. For every 2 moles of the chloric acid, I need 1 mole of the barium hydroxide. All right, and that's going to get me moles, and that's really as far as I can go with the stoichiometry. All right, I'm going to need to use my formula for the second part. All right, so if I plug in these values and then calculate, I'm going to get 0.064 moles of the BaOH2. All right, but I'm not quite done because the problem wants the molarity of that solution, not just the moles. All right, so remember, molarity is moles of solute divided by volume of solution. And in this case, I have 0.064 moles of that barium hydroxide. And the problem told me that I had 275 milliliters or 0.275 liters of that solution. So if I do my division, I'll find that this solution must have been 0.232 molar. Okay? Now, the only thing that you could do differently here is this first step right here. Sorry. All right. Instead of starting with my molarity as a conversion factor, maybe instead I say, okay, well, the molarity is equal to moles divided by volume. If I know the molarity is 0.85 molar, and I know my volume is 0.15 liters, then the moles of my substance, the moles of that perchloric acid, have to be 0.15 times 0.85. And I get 0.1275 moles. All right, then I plug that into my mole ratio step, and this is of HClO3. All right, and if I plug that into my mole ratio step, I end up dividing that by 2, and I get 0.064. So you can see I'm going to get the same value. So either way is going to work. Conversion factor, using the formula, it's whatever you are most comfortable with. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know.